What is up, everyone? Welcome to Club Collab. I'm Max Jimenez, and I'm here with my host over here, co-host. What's up, Ryan
What's up?
Overcash?
What's up, Max? Yeah, point in the right direction.
I know, bro. The camera's playing tricks on me, brother.
That way.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us tonight. Today we have a really great show. We have a special guest, really good friend of ours. He's going to break down what he's doing in his business, and really excited to have him on, Ryan. I think he's doing some big things, not only in his market, but for the community as well, man. And
Yep.
as people jump on, I want to remind everybody this is a live show, so make sure that you ask your questions, make sure that you comment. The big thing is share it with someone. I want to make sure that this gets out there. Share it with someone if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Man, bring someone on with you. Have your questions ready because I'm going to tell you tonight's topic is going to be crazy, crazy, crazy. Because where most people are running away from flipping, my man, he is actually going deeper into flipping, and he's gonna break down exactly some of
What?
the strategies he's doing. Isn't that crazy, Ryan? Think that's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because everyone's hiding right now and can't find buyers anywhere. Well, we can, but I mean,
Yeah, yep. So we're going to have him come on and talk a little bit about that. But before we bring him on, I want to talk about December 8th. We have our the Closers Lab meetup here
mm,
in Phoenix. Man, you don't want to miss this. I'm going to be putting the link in the comment section of where you can go register. We're going to have it's going to be Ryan, myself, and we got my man Cash Money Mike flying in from North Carolina. Let's go, baby.
North
Going to be talking about seller
Carolina.
finance. We're going to be talking about seller finance. Going to be talking about the change in the market, things like that. We did a show last week, right, Ryan, about
Yeah.
is wholesaling dead? And obviously, Cash Money Mike went pretty hard on
Stop.
that.
Stop.
So we
Scaring
want to
everyone.
invite
Dude. The
every
sky's
single one
falling.
of you. What's that?
You're scaring everybody. The sky's falling.
It ain't falling, bro. Don't be chicken little. So December 8th from 4 p.m. to whenever we're done, we go till midnight. One thing I can tell you is, man, Cash Money Mike is, man, he will answer all the questions, even if we're there till 1 in the morning. But it's a free meetup. All you got to do is register. I'm gonna drop the link in the comment section. But we got some of you guys on. Cesar, what's up, brother? Thank you for jumping on.
Yo.
Anthony, what's going on, brother? Esther, how are you? Long time no see. Randy, what's going on, my brother? Claudio, what's up, bro? How you doing? And then, of course, we got a number one fan, which is Anthony, man. But
Muhammad.
today we got a really exciting show. I just wanted to make sure I wanted to, make that announcement. Don't miss that meetup. It's going to be really amazing. If you can drive here, if you can make it here, if you can fly here, I mean, it'll be even better. I think it's going to be great. You don't want to miss it. And we'll have there he is. There's our main Cash Money Mike on here as Cardinal Development. Let's go,
Oh,
baby.
there he is.
So we're gonna
Let's
drop the
go.
link in the comment section. But tonight's show, man, I'm really excited about this, Ryan, because man, we have a very good friend of ours. Like I said, he's doing some amazing things. He's getting ready to start pouring out back into the community. He told me about his plans. But man, I want to talk about like how he's doing what he's doing right now, because I think especially for the setup he has, we're gonna ask that, and we're gonna talk about some he did that most people don't know about. Right? We're gonna leave that a secret. We're gonna wait till he jumps on, because my man, he got bars. So we're gonna have him talk about that. Yeah, exactly. Vicente said, "Good to see you again, live, Max. Nice to meet you on live, Ryan. Of course, man. Let's go."
So,
Maryland Goss is on. Let's go. Yeah, supporting my man. Antonio, what's up, brother? How you doing? So, without further ado, let's bring on my man, my buddy, my partner, Seamus. What up, man?
What's good, brothers? What's good, man? How you doing?
Nah, good, bro. Good. How you been, bro?
I'm great, man. Thank you for the intro. That was
Of
amazing.
course.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm honored to be on the show. Max, we met, I think probably like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
At a meetup and everything. So,
Yeah, it's like
Ryan, my
2018 or
brother,
19, right?
yeah, it was like it's 2019. I was at the Freedom event. That's why I was
That's
there.
right. That's
And I
right. Yep.
met Max and stuff like that. So I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, Ryan, my brother, you know what I'm saying, you guys, we joke around a lot and everything. So, you know, y'all the family, man. I appreciate y'all. My man Cash Money Mike
Cash Money. See
is
him
a
on there.
wizard. And you know what's crazy? Me and Cash Money grew up in the same county.
Oh yeah, he said that.
Dang,
Remember that when he
man.
came by?
Yeah. Yeah,
like
same
brothers, huh?
county. Yeah, exactly.
crazy.
That's why we
Brothers
wear
plus.
the hats, Cash Money with the hats, Yankees till we die. You know how it goes.
Cool, man. No, it's awesome to have you, man. It's been a minute. You know, it's long overdue to have you on the show. And so tell us a little bit about who's Seamus, man. Like, you know, who you know, what's your background? What do you do? You know, and
Hey,
where
PG though,
where you
man.
currently
Don't
at?
hurt him.
Yeah,
Don't hurt him, Seamus.
I keep some stuff
They-
hidden.
they-
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, they ain't ready for that, Seamus. They're not ready
Nah,
for
they
all
not.
that, bro.
They
No,
not.
no.
They not.
Let's
They
keep
not.
that ride from HBHS office to the hotel in that car. Let's keep it in there.
Facts. Facts.
Mike
Well,
said
yeah,
New York for life. But yeah, go ahead, brother.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my name is Seamus Goss. I'm a full-time investor in Atlanta, Georgia. I focus more on fixing and flipping. I do wholesale deals, but I'm kind of addicted to renovating properties. And when I first came into the real estate space, I came in as an investor. So I knew about running numbers and comps and where to buy and stuff like that. So when I started wholesaling, my mentality is like, okay, if I can wholesale this and make 20K and the investor can make 40, I want the whole 60. I'll do it myself. So I kind of find myself like, my buddy was like, yo, you got 7 flips going on. I was like, I know, I want 3 more. He was like, bro, you need to slow down. I'm like, no, I need to speed up. Bring me more, you know? So I've been investing. I've been in real estate. So my first shot at real estate, when I moved from New York to Georgia, I went to school for construction management. This was in 2004.
Damn, nice. Okay.
And then I was like, you know what, man, I don't do hard labor. I don't want to swing no damn hammer. I'm not, but I should have stayed there just to learn the process to build a house from the ground up, right?
Right,
So
right.
I dropped out, you know, and then I started a uniform company, me and my wife, and we ran that business. We built it to 7 figures, and we ran that for like 16 years. And I went to try to get my second attempt was I was going to go get my real estate license, right?
Yep.
And the first 4 days, I'm like, man, this is college. This is I gotta take this in front of a camera. I don't do good interrogating. I'm not with that. So I stopped. He was like, yeah, we give you 4 days and you can get your money back. On day 4, I tapped out. I'm like, I'm out. This ain't for me.
Give my money back.
I want my money back. I was day 1. Let me get my money back. So that was my second attempt. And then when we closed our uniform company down, I had some money put to the side. We bought like 5 acres, and I was like, we're gonna renovate it. And it wound up being a disaster. We had contractors that was buying tools with our credit cards. Like, it was a disaster.
Yep.
So that was the third shot. I'm like, maybe it's not for me. And then my fourth shot was at the end of 2018. I got into real estate, but I got under a mentor. And let's just say they didn't have my best interest in mind. And I was bringing deals to the table. I was getting to the office before they got there, leaving after them. And I kind of got discouraged, you know, and that's when I went to freedom. I was like, man.
Yep.
Dude, props to you for not giving up, bro. Keep going.
Yeah, man. Because after 2019, I pivoted away. I didn't do nothing in real estate for 2020 and part of 2021. I was doing e-com and everything. I'm like, man, I make 50 grand, 100 grand a month. I don't need this real estate thing. And what's funny, I was sitting in my home office and I looked at my board and we was getting ready to launch another brand and buy an 18-wheeler. And I stood up and I heard God say, you asked to be in a certain position financially and to be in a position to do real estate. And now you're not doing nothing with real estate.
Dang,
so I literally walked into my bedroom and told my wife everything else is put on hold, and I went to momentum, and that's when I went and got back in. And just came.
What a testimony!
That's crazy.
Sorry about my dogs interrupting right there, bro. Damn, I never even heard this story. I heard all the other stories. I haven't heard this story. Dang.
Yeah, and it's funny. So I was at Momentum and they won because I knew that Carlos and Sal and them, they had their pulse on the industry. They knew what was going on, what was shifting and everything. And on the drive to the Airbnb, I hear, man, you better not spend no money on no mentors. No, you better not pay nobody to teach you what you already know and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I can't spend the money right now. And then this day 2, when Carlos said, hey, we're going to introduce the mentorship, I was like, I'm in. I'm in. First, swipe it. I'm in. That's the devil was talking to me last night. The devil is alive. And I'm in. You know what I'm
Nice,
saying?
man. I love that, bro, because I think all three of us have somewhat of a similar story. I think Ryan can relate to the fact that, he spent some money on some mentors, and, I don't know if you want to talk about that, Ryan.
It's a soft
go ahead.
spot, Max. No,
I know.
no, it's my journey.
You don't have
right?
to
No,
give all the
I did
details,
it.
but you know what
I
I mean?
did it twice. So Seamus, I spent a chunk, 30 grand at first time, 2010. And then the second time I spent 20 grand. And then, but anyways, I always, I'm not bitter about it because it led me to find Max, because I ended up having to go spend more money to go find that guy because he wouldn't call me back. So I had to pay
DMs.
I had to pay for friends, one of those things. Max had a ad for friends.
I like
Anyways.
what Milton's, I love that. And I always like for Ryan to share that because I think there's more than one person in this, in that situation. And I love what you said, Seamus. I want to kind of dwell on that just a little bit because, that's part of the journey, right? If you're in tune with a purpose, right? You said, for you, it was like, for me as well, being faith-based, understanding that God speaks to you and what things that are directing you, right? And it's like, and you never know if you give up too early, you never know what that next step is. And I can tell you, I ran into so many obstacles, man, when I first started. Like, and these are, and when I think about it now, they're like split little moments where like, damn, what if I would have done this instead of that? Where would I have been at?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk a little bit about that? Because maybe there's some new people on here listening. We have quite a bit of people on here now, but talk about those little split decisions, because you just said the night before, you're like, yo, don't spend any money on anything. And then as soon as they said, it was like,
I'm in.
I'm in.
Yeah. So I'm a very spiritual person. And I believe that, anything that's going to change the trajectory for your family, and if you're going to break the generational curse and you're going to show everybody how to do it after you, you're going to get punched in the face several times, and you're going to come up, there's going to be obstacles that's going to come up. And, if you're faith driven, I look at it like this. I'm 49 years old, and God helped me through every single situation. So why wouldn't he help me do this?
Yeah.
Right. So it was plenty of times, like, I look at things, I'm like, man, if I wouldn't have spent $100,000 on this, I could invest it. And now when you know that knowledge, you're like, man, I should have took that money and bought a foreclosed property and kept it as a rental. You don't know that. You don't know that, So for me, I'm just relentless. If I believe in it, and to have I've been with my wife 35 years. And
nice, man. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. And
that's a long time.
Every time we hit, it is. Every time we hit.
Dang, how old are you, Seamus? You guys been together since you were like in elementary school, 6th grade,
14,
or what?
Since 14 years old, bro. 14 years old.
It's amazing, bro.
And no matter what happened, she always was there. She's like, if we got to sleep in the van, that's what we need to do. Yeah. So when you have that other half, that's like, because as men, we don't want to go to our wife and be like, yo, we're in foreclosure, we're losing all of the money, because some people are in relationships where the wife is like, well, you got to get your stuff and you got to get out of here. But when you got a woman or a husband that's like, hey, I got you no matter what, you're able to deal with more, So that's one of the big keys. I think a journey was to have support. So, there's little pivotal moments, like you said, that you could think back and like, damn, if I would have did this and I would have did that. But I think that right now, like one of my morning mantras is, you're in a perfect position. You are exactly where you need to be right now. Yeah. God may not always, he may not be always on time, but he's always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that reminds me of the saying, hey, you know when it was a good time to plant a tree 20 years ago. You know when it's a
Yeah,
good time to plant the next one? Today. Right?
exactly.
Because yeah,
Exactly.
so I love that you say that, and I love that you talk about having that support. I can relate to that quite a bit with my wife. I mean, we've been not as long as you, but we're working on our 23rd year. But yeah, man, it's definitely changes the game when you have that support and they ride with you and stuff. But cool, man, and it's it's interesting to think about that. Like it's the little, I heard what's his name, Ed Milet, excuse me, I couldn't think there for a minute. Ed Milet did a speech, and it was about a 1 minute thing, and he said, and he was saying, very powerful speaker. I'm pretty, you listened to him before and on live and stuff. And he said, man, he goes, you win with the inches. He goes, you win
Yeah.
with the little. He goes, it's the inches, man. And it was very powerful, bro. Even when I listened to it today, even though that
Yeah.
was like 3 years ago, bro, I was like, it still rings very true today. That
Yeah.
same message, you can play it and it's very relevant to right now. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Compounding, man. It's compounding little
compounding.
Yeah.
by little. Yeah. Little by little.
Exactly. So then you go to Momentum, and then what do you start doing? Do you start wholesaling from there, or what's the next step after that?
So after Momentum, that was the end of November. I said, well, let me prep. All my other companies, I was like, we're gonna pause that. We're gonna pause that. I said, let me prep, and I relaunched marketing and everything January 3rd. I was like off to a new start, and I came out blazing. 15 VAs, spending 30,000 on data. Like I was just throwing money
Damn.
at everything. Like damn. And it's funny. The other day, I was telling my buddy, I said, before I closed my first deal this year, I said, I was $100,000 in. He was like, what?
Dang,
I was like, yeah, I spent
crazy, bro.
100 grand before I got my first check, even though 4 weeks in, 3, 4 weeks in, we locked up our first flip, but they
Yep.
had tenants in there. We had to give them 60 days and so on. So most people, 5 grand, 10 grand, and like you, I'm out. But when I started out, what I said was, I have $100,000, and if I don't get a deal after I'm spending this $100,000, I have to restructure and figure out what I'm doing wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because every system ain't for everybody. Like I
Yep.
don't want a huge team.
Yeah.
I don't want to come in and hey, this is the morning speech. Hey, everybody get your pens out. Let's clap. No, if you're gonna get the bag, we're getting the bag, or your ass need to get out the way. That's just not me, right? I'm the point, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. I'm the type that, hey, I'm a ball player, right? If I come
Yeah.
down with the ball and I'm faster and I get past half court, I'll lay up 15 times in a row. You better get your ass down the court. Or I'm not getting
Yeah.
now. If you're ahead of me, I'll pass you the ball. I use my
Yeah.
peripheral vision, but I'm not gonna be like, hey guys, come on down here, so I can pass. Nah, I'm gonna be on 30 points.
What did it reminds
Come
me
on
of what
down
did
here, bro.
Kobe said, man, you better get the damn rebound. Kobe Bryant
Exactly,
told us.
I ain't
exactly. You better
passing.
get the rebound because I'm shooting. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
and that part
makes sense.
for me to get to that type of company, I'm gonna have to hire a CFO that came in from a corporate company that understands about leadership. Because my leadership is about, hey, I'm paying the bills. We need to get this
Yeah.
shit done. We need to get
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
done. And I don't care what else goes on. So I know that I'm not good in those
Mm.
positions. And I'm not going to say that I'm not good in a position. What I am going to say is my tolerance level is 0. That's
Yeah.
it. Like
Right.
we hired like 3 or 4 acquisitions. One of them on day 2, I fired him because he was 7 minutes late. I was like, yo, you live 5 minutes away. I live 45. You're late. It's the second day. It's going to happen. This ain't going to work. Take a walk. My tolerance
Yeah.
level is 0. So I got to put somebody in a position to be like, I'm
Yep.
like, okay, you handle that, but I'm going to attend to
Yeah.
this.
I like what you're saying about the whole thing with understanding, because just because you see somebody, and dude, I've said this, and Ryan knows this for a very long time, and I don't think I ever talked to you about this, Seamus, but a lot of people look at, and again, social media, it's always hype and stuff, but I've known people personally, and I went to their offices and I went to their businesses, and looking at something like, people look at that where there's like 30 employees or sorry, 30 team members, or whatever that is, and it's like, that's what I want to have. But they don't realize, man, that's like, you got to understand. We had ask Ryan. He was he was he was helping us build our team for like a year and a half, almost 2 years straight. We had 6 in-house and then 8 virtual team members that were operation. We're not talking about marketing. Like none of the marketing was done in-house. None of the, it was 8 VAs in the Philippines that were running like high level operation stuff. They were part of our level 10. They were part of all that. And that was a work and a half. Now you 10x that. And so I want you to touch on that because I mean, obviously you thought that was the way you wanted to go, but then you realized like that wasn't for me because of your style and the way that you wanted to. Because there's a part of, is that how you want to create a business to fit your lifestyle? Yes, right. Is that what you came to realize, or how was that realization when?
Yeah, so what wind up happening is when we relaunched and I, started getting 15 VAs and everything, what I started noticing, we was already falling behind. I'm like, yo, we got 300 leads we haven't called back yet. I'm like, and then
that's a lot.
Like, yo, all right, it's piling up, and to the point like I would come in and I would scroll through leads, and if I didn't see it was a home run, I wouldn't call you back because I'm like, yo, I got 600 people to call. I'm gonna pick these 15, and that's not efficient when it comes to you sending offers out because it is a numbers game,
right?
So then I started looking at it. I said, okay, and then you're cold calling, and we talked about this, and you have a VA that calls, and the homeowner says, yeah, I want to get, I would like an offer. Then when you call them back, there was like, I didn't want no offer, and I'm like, man, I didn't have to take this damn phone call. Like, this is a waste of time. So the first thing I did was I pivoted away from cold calling and texting, and we're going to do some of that, but to niche specific lists, not, everybody teaches go buy a high equity, buy 100,000 records and throw them in a dialer. I'm like, okay, you'll have 1,000 leads, and really 90% of them just want to hear your offer. If you want to hear the offer, go to offer pad, type your address in, and boom, there you are. You have that. That's not what I do, right? So when I changed the marketing, what I noticed was those inbound leads were different conversations. Every time I asked them, do you have a price? If they would tell me, well, I wanted to know your offer, I would tell them, I say, hey, listen, to just be completely honest, we don't give offers out to everybody. And this is a process. So just to see if we're in the same arena, if you could just give me a number, this is going to prevent a long time. Exactly. And they're like, I want 300,000. There we go. Right.
Yep.
So I just started seeing that. And then I started seeing that I was putting 1 out of 6 one out of 6 leads on the contract. And I'm like, damn, okay. We spent 6,000 on PPC and made 100. I'm like, this is the model I want. And when I started looking at my business structure, I was like, you know what? I don't want 30 people. I want 5 Navy SEALs. That's it.
Love that.
We all come up like frogmen. You know what I'm saying? I got this one. And I don't mind sharing the wealth. I want everybody to drive Lamborghinis and live in mansions and travel.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I'm the last one that's like, yo, I'm the boss. Everybody's the boss until it's time to pay the bills. Then they're like, oh, that's the boss. I ain't the boss. So,
so true, man.
So that was my concept. Was like, let's just switch everything up. And my lifestyle, I create everything around that. So if this is the time that I do my personal stuff, this is what I have to put into my business. And that's what I decided to do.
I love that you're speaking on that, man, because too many of us, and Ryan, I'll get your input on this, because too many of us, I've always been really grounded, and obviously when you talk to me, and it comes from part of my wife, because I never was like this. I was wild now, and I can share some crazy stories and stuff, but ever since I met my wife, really grounded me, and I've never gotten caught up in the comparison game, and I want to be like this person or like that person. I've always been trying to find my own journey, as difficult as that has been for me anyways, right? Because I never took it an extreme. I've always been at my own pace. But I think I love that you said that, because most people get caught up in that, right? Like, man, I'm seeing this dude get it like that. I'm seeing that dude get it like that. Like, but realizing like it takes a lot. You just said it, right? Like it takes a lot to be able to get to that point of, potentially trying to be like that person. And you have no idea how they got there. Maybe they had funding. Maybe they had this. Maybe they started 10 years ago. And it's like, and so you fall in love with what I call the end result, right? Like, And I'm glad that you touch on that, because just because it looks good from one angle, it doesn't mean it's good from the other angle. I mean, do you agree with that?
Exactly. 1000%. It's funny because, like you said, you'll have individuals that have huge teams, and when you ask them, like, well, what's your ROI? Well, we spend 25 grand a month and we make 150. And then you turn around and be like, yeah, but your overhead is this. And my concept is, if I spend 25 grand, I want to make 500. So I need individuals that have a better skill set, and I'm willing to hire people that I'm going to pay $200,000 a year to, because it's like, the more skill sets you develop as an individual, I could say, hey, Ryan, take this, or Max, take that. We could switch seats when you got 4 or 5 assassins. It ain't like, hey, Ryan is the only one that could do that, or Max is the only one. No, Ryan could do it too. Max can do it and everything. So it's true. Like you say you want it until you're stressed out, until you're rotating people. Like, bro, I hired 5 acquisitions in 4 weeks, and none of them lasted. None of them. And I was closing deals on, one of the guys, I closed a $100,000 deal his second day in, and like a week goes by, my wife is like, he's in a bathroom crying. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He had a nervous breakdown. I was like, bro, like, go home. I'm like, go home, because I got a lot of stuff I'm dealing with. I'm crying in the bathroom. I'm like, I ain't crying in the bathroom.
This for real? This for real?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. My wife was like, he's in the bathroom crying. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, he's crying. And then he gets on the phone. He's like, I just been dealing with a lot. And I'm like, bro, you're a grown ass man. And I cry too, but not because of, not while I'm at work.
Not because in the bathroom, bro. You don't cry in the bathroom.
Exactly. You must have got a harsh seller on the phone, and they just ruined your day. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, you can't catch me through this phone. You can't touch me through this phone, bro. I'm about that life. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, you can't make that stuff up, bro. Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, so when I see, and then what I realized was, I gotta keep changing these pieces.
Yeah.
Because we all know, when it comes to acquisitions, they're gonna do one or two things. They're gonna try to get you to give them a percentage of the company, which is fine if you're holding it down, or they're gonna take what you taught them and go off and be a direct competitor. I'd rather you just come to me and say, hey, Seamus, I've been closing 250 a month. You're paying me 10%. Can I get 20%? Yeah, cool. Because I'm looking at it like this. You're making me 250. I'll give you, matter of fact, I'll give you 100. I'll give you 100. Just make me the other 150. I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that you're saying that, because while you're talking, I love that you say that, because while you're talking about this is, I'm reminded of what you say, man. I love for you to make 500,000 in a year. I love for you to make $1 million. Do it, because I know if they do that, that means that Max is gonna, the company or the mission is gonna keep going, and everything's gonna start to flourish. But that's amazing to, that you have that mindset, because most people don't, man. Like, they just want to keep people at a certain level, understanding that, if they level up, you're also leveling up as well. And I think that's your wife, right, Marilyn? She's like, yep, that boy was crying in the bathroom.
I was like, what? She was like, Seamus, he's crying in the damn bathroom. And she ain't saying it in a nice way.
Nah.
Yeah, I know. I would have probably been like, Ryan, you better go talk to this dude.
I know he would have.
Jesus.
I'd take him for a ride really quick.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So then obviously, going through the story of trying to build your operation and stuff. So where are you at right now? Because you went through the whole trying to have, this big operation, and then you kind of try to slim it down, and you were trying to find those snipers. Where are you currently at right now? And what are some of the challenges before we get into what you're doing? Because I want to talk about your flipping, you're now flipping, and maybe transition into that as far as where you're at right now. Because I know a lot of people are struggling with this right now that may be on here.
Yeah. So right now we're in the process of hiring a lead manager. That's the only position we're hiring right now, is a lead manager. Just for him to go through, like I said, we still got 300 or 400 leads, which I know there's probably 20, 30 deals in there. Filter through those leads, right? Filter through those leads, set appointments, I'll close them. The reason right now, and I'm gonna let it be known, the reason why I'm closing everything is because I'm getting on Closer Olympics. I told Elijah, and I'm gonna be like, yo, I closed 100 deals this year by myself. Who wants to smoke? I want to smoke. You know what I'm saying? So the lead manager,
RJ wants to smoke, bro.
I want to smoke too. You see, I want to smoke too. That's my boy right there. So the lead manager, after the lead manager, then I'll hire an acquisition agent. Once I feel like, I could train them on seller finance, on subject to, on raps, novations, then I'll remove myself from that seat. And then after that, I'm going to hire a marketing director, which is going to take care of all of the marketing, whether it's, we're doing PPC now, but we're adding Facebook and YouTube and Gmail, marketing director. Then I'm going to hire a dispo director, and then I'm going for a CFO.
Yep.
So it's gonna basically, and my wife, she does all of the admin. She's the one that the money comes in. She tells me today on a project, I was like, this is gonna be 20. She's like, Seamus, you said 70,000. That's 90. So she tells me what we could spend and everything. So
right now it's just you and who? You and your wife?
Me and my wife
doing everything.
Everything.
What?
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? So,
you know what's crazy is going back to Mike's comment right here where it says snipers only. And I think Ryan, I think you and I were having this conversation, I believe, how you have Navy SEALs, you have the Deltas, right? That's the Army. Like these guys, 5 guys like change the whole course of a country, right? You have everything. like everything, 4 to 5 like really like super trained guys. They go in and they take out leaders, man, and they change course of the country. That's what's crazy, right? And to think that if you take that same concept and put it into business, which most people don't really think about that, like you don't need 20 people, you don't need 30 people. No, not at all, man. Yeah,
you don't.
Mike.
Key. Wait,
go ahead.
And that's the key is when you think that you need 20, 30 people. In most cases, as a leader, you don't have the traits that it takes to lead a team of 30 or 40 people. Right? You don't have it. So you wind up, hiring and firing, not agreeing, not understanding and stuff like that. I know my weaknesses, and my weaknesses are, I know about Excel sheets. I can't put a code in none of them. I know those type of things. I know we need to look at KPIs, but I'm not like Sal. Sal will sit there for hours and formulate Excel sheets. And I'm like, just tell me what the shit means. I don't need to know anything else. You know what I'm saying? So when you put those people in position, it's easier. Like now, of course, you want to use VAs to do simple tasks, like if they're going to skip trace a list and enter data, cool. But for the everyday transaction, which is a lead comes in, somebody calls them and closes it, you can snipe them with a couple of people in house. Like I find myself looking at, like, I look at the Forbes list and I look at like companies, and I'll see a company did 70 million and only have 3 employees. I'm like, that's what I want right there. Yeah. And you got another company that did 40 million and they got 600 employees. I don't want 600 employees. That's not what I'm not trying to have a big Christmas party. I want everybody over at my house. You know what I'm saying? So my vision is just a little bit different, because I've been there where I hired people and I had to fire. Like I came back from China one time in our uniform company. I fired the whole company. I'm like, everybody, fired everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of taught me what I want,
Yeah. But I think our industry, man, is very difficult. I think what the big mistake that a lot of people make, that especially if you stick just with wholesaling per se, right? Like that's not a scalable business past 5 million, probably, 8 million. Like it's you maybe, but that's tough. And you look at the open doors, look at Zillow, look at those big monsters, right? They came in and obviously I know the formula was wrong, but the fact that they were big monsters and failed at it, that should tell you something. This industry, and I say this all the time when I see guys slap a CEO tag on their name and they don't want to work in the business. I posted this the other day on IG. I said, laugh out loud. Some of you want to slap, some of you make a couple $100,000 to $1 million, and you want to slap, you see that one? Some of you slap the CEO tag and don't want to be in your business when this dude just spent 44 billion and he's working right next to his team. Like there's levels to this. And I'm glad that you're touching on that, because most people that are just starting out, or people that are maybe, trying to grow their business, got to understand that this business is tough to get it to a point where it can either run on its own, or it could, or it potentially be at a scale of like a service company or a technology business. What do you think about that, Seamus?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You know, you have to understand every seat in the company. It doesn't mean you have to stay in it for a long period of time. But, you know, I challenge people, I challenge some of the industry leaders. If I was to ask them a question, okay, do me a favor. I know you're doing 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. Take a 6-month vacation.
Yeah.
I bet you when you come back, somebody try to replace you as a CEO. They hire new people. That's just what happens. Like, you have to be in the business. Now, you don't have to be in there 40 or 60 hours a week,
Right.
but you have to keep a pulse on,
you gotta,
you got to keep a pulse on it, you know, because like,
Yeah.
you know, what happens, like you said, you come back and like, when I was in, you know, I'll talk about this later, but you have people that come back and like, yo, we got a new CEO. Who's that? Who's that? Like, yeah, he was gone for a year, you know? So if you're going to be gone for a year, be able to close. Like, my goal next year is me and my wife are going on a 6-month vacation, and I'm going to document every deal I close from Greece, everywhere. Like, hey, we're doing a couple of million a year from Greece, Santorini, boom. I want to jet ski or whatever like that. I may close a deal
Bro,
out on the ocean on a damn jet ski, just to show people design your life. And then, because I always said this, if somebody came to me and said, hey, I want you to run a Fortune 500 company and we're going to pay you $5 million a year, but you got to manage 200 people, or I'll pay you $500,000 a year and you operate at your own leisure, I'm taking the $500,000 because I'm smart enough to take that $500,000 and double it and triple it at my expense, you know?
That makes sense. That makes sense. I like what Claudio said. This business is brutal, and that's just the reality of it. There are no guarantees whatsoever. 100%, man. Steven, I appreciate the fire emojis. Thank you for dropping them gems. So I love, so transitioning over, I like that you're going to hire a lead manager. I can tell you that a lead manager for us, man, was a big, crucial step into pushing us forward, because and I learned this in the Collective Genius. I know you asked me about that mastermind a couple of weeks ago, or last week or something like that, right? We were talking about that. All the companies that were doing that were real estate related, because there's different industries in that mastermind, they all had one thing in common, which was the lead manager. That was the X factor for everyone's success. Now the difference though is that the lead manager was in-house. It was stateside. They had no lead managers abroad or overseas. Everything was in-house, right? I mean, obviously they had cold callers and stuff overseas, but when it came to the lead manager, because those are the ones that consistently stayed in touch with the sellers, it was in-house. They never hired abroad. So that was the X factor that I saw from somebody being successful, or their businesses like taking off, because because it's a very crucial piece, like you said, right? And that's kind of where we're moving into now. We're going to do something similar as well, because that for us last year, when we did that, integrated the lead manager, that's where we started to have 300,000, 400,000, a couple for $400,000 months. And then there was a one point where we had like up to I think $1 million, right? In escrow at one point, close to $1 million anyways. And that was only with 2 acquisitions and myself part-time, being acquisitions part-time. But the lead manager, bro, the lead manager was the X factor in that. Yep.
Yeah. Because you got to think about it. If I get a phone call and somebody's asking me, hey, do you want to sell your house? Right now, if they're from overseas and they're asking me the 6 simple question, are you looking to sell? Cool. What's a good time to call you back? And I get somebody that we don't even speak, or I hear roosters in the back. I'm like, bro, you can't even buy my house. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You can't even buy my house. So my wife tells me you're a racist. If I call the bank and I get somebody, and I don't want to deal with that. Like, I'm gonna hang up until I get in America. Like, bro, I don't want to talk. You're gonna ask me my account number 7 times. I done told you this already. And I think it's the same way. This is somebody's biggest asset that they have.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Me and Eric Klein was debating about this, because he said sales is sales. I said, but I believe, this is my first opinion. I love Eric. Selling a t-shirt and selling a sneaker is different than convincing somebody to sell them their biggest asset. You need a different set of skills.
Agreed.
I can sell you t-shirts all day. I could walk to like, here's a t-shirt. There's this 10 minus 5. When I'm trying to get you to sell me your house for 300,000, I have to have a formula, a system. I have to understand, you know, psychology, Socratic questions and everything. That plays the part, right? And I had to learn that. I was a rebel. Like, yo, I was straight up the street. Yo, mine is 50. His is 70. You want it or you don't. I can't tell that to a homeowner. Like, I'm gonna buy his house for 100 to me. So I had to learn that.
Yeah, no, you can't, because it's a lot of emotional attachment to that situation, right? And so that's the separator from what you just said, right? Selling products and goods and services. And I always talk about this, man. Like, I've seen so many people struggle when they come, and I've had some people like, bro, I'm gonna kill it. You know, I was crushing it. Ryan was one of them, actually. Ryan started as an acquisition, and Ryan used to sell foundation repairs. He's like, bro, this can't be hard. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, bro. And tell me that in 30 days after you get your face kicked, when these sellers are like, F off and all this.
Exactly. You know,
love me, Seamus. They love me.
It's a huge transition, man, because first of all, you're not selling any products. Second, you're not really selling any services. You're selling sort of a solution, but still nothing tangible, right? You're selling yourself, you're selling solution. And again, you know, it's a emotional attachment. The situation requires a lot of psychology, like you said, a lot of probing, asking all the questions, and you know, getting commitments and stuff. But man, yeah, we could talk about all that stuff all night. It's a whole another ball game. So now let's jump into what you're currently doing, because I feel like, and again, I might be wrong on this, is that why you got into flipping? I know earlier in the beginning of the conversation, you said you just love the what is it called? You just love the idea of renovating. Was that always something, or is that because, or is it both going hand because of where you're at currently in your operation?
No, when I first started, you know, I just find it fascinating that I could create a home and get people to spend their life in it and create memories in it, right? I'm a creative person. We'll talk about this later when we talk about what we're gonna talk about. I'm a creative person. I'm a creative person. So for me to take something and create it, to be honest, I like doing that more than I like wholesaling. Because one, I get to, you know, I look at it like this. For me, when you're a creative person and you don't use your creativity, it leads to insanity, because everything gets bottled up. And you know, us as entrepreneurs, we got 70 different ideas going on in our head. We don't express them. And my way of doing it, like when we did the uniform industry, it was times I used to tell my wife, you go in, I don't want to go into it. The only thing I liked was I was able to go in and design uniforms for a team and know nobody else looks like them. So when I came in, it was with the intent of, I'm going to build and flip houses.
Yeah, got it.
So being with the mentors, when I seen I wasn't getting paid, I said, you know what? I need to figure out how to make money. And that's when I came across wholesaling, which was on the Real Estate Disruptors podcast. That's where I first seen you guys at. And I'm like, you mean to tell me I could do this with no money? Because at the end, after the mentors, I remember the first 2 deals, I brought it to my mentor. It was a teardown, but the numbers made sense. I had the contractors that was like, hey, we could build this for $80 a square foot. 1,200 is going to be 120. I brought it to him. He was like, yeah, you know, I don't want to do the deal. And in my mind, I'm like, I just came out of bankruptcy. I'm like, I need this damn deal. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, because I did 10 of them and I failed at 7. And I looked at him and I said, you failed. And he looked at me like, bro, I was like, you failed. This is all I got. So we didn't want to do a deal. Then I brought another deal, had it on the contract for $115. It was an $85,000 rehab. ARV was $350. Didn't want to do that deal. After this, I'm like, yo, come on, man. Then I found out that there was some internal issues going on within the company. So I was like, okay, because one of the partners told me what was going on. So I found a third deal, and the day of closing, they're like, we don't have the money to fund it. I'm like, yo, I'm going to choke somebody. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh, man.
Today. So I had to borrow. Luckily, we only needed about $4,000 or $5,000. But for the wholesaler that was selling it to me was a friend. he was like, I want to get paid my 15, so I'll lend you the $5,000. So I borrowed the money, right? I borrowed the money. Then I found my fourth deal, which was a fire damage property. But this time I said, you know what? I told the wholesaler, I'm going to add 5,000 on your end and 5,000 on this end, because I knew I wasn't getting paid. So that was my first check, was a $5,000 check. I didn't even get paid from the rest of the fire damage. And I wind up walking away from the flip because we closed on it in May. It was a 60-day flip, August, September. Yeah, I was like, man, you know what? I'm like, and there was arguments going on and everything. I said, you know what? You could keep my share of the funds. I don't want no energy with you guys. And that's when I went to Freedom. I said, let me figure out wholesaling. I had a couple of individuals that was like, man, if you find a deal, you know, we'll put the money up. And I'm like, we're gonna have to use hard money. It's gonna be 50 grand. I got it.
Yep.
And then I bring the deal to him, like, oh, my wife don't want me. I said, you know what? I'm not asking nobody for nothing. I'm gonna go run the bag up, come back, and do it myself. And that's what I did.
Nice. And so right now, how many flips do you have going on right now, Seamus?
7.
You got 7. Dang,
by himself.
That's crazy.
And a couple of them are like 100K. They're 100Ks.
Yeah, like 100K spread.
No, 100K rehab.
Oh, renovations. Dang, that's quite a bit, bro. That's a. I mean, you know, it's so it seems like a lot because in the times we're in. But you know, for somebody that's watching and potentially, you know, it maybe got out of flipping, what are some things? I mean, can you talk about a couple of things that's helping you to maintain that many flips in this market right now? I mean, starting from potentially negotiating how you found the deal, and then, you know, all the way to funding, and then what your exit strategy is going to be on some of these. Because I don't know. I think you're also looking to keep some of these, so they're not all going to be flips, right? So you want to talk about those 3 factors, like sourcing, funding, and then like your exit strategy on how you're managing all this, especially with these times, right, where things are changing almost on a daily basis. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be people on here like, dang, 7, like that's crazy.
Yeah. So most of the flips that I got going on now are coming from PPC and direct mail, right? Okay. 3 of them are pre-foreclosure. So those 3 I took subject to. So we just reinstated the loan, and we'll rehab it. All of the flips are private money, because on the 3 that sub 2, renovations on them maybe 60K, 70K, 80K. I have a private money lender that lends me those short, you know, those amounts for 90 days, 120 days, or whatever like that. But so what I'm doing is, because 3 of the flips that I got are not even in Georgia. One is in Dearborn, Michigan. One is in Elm City, North Carolina, and the other one is in Plymouth, North Carolina. Right.
Okay. So even outside of your market, that's even makes it more interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of what I do. When a lead comes in, I look at the numbers. First, you have to buy it at the right price, right?
Of course. Yep.
So if I look for anywhere from 50 to 80K spread, once I, you know, with the purchase price and the rehab, I have to have 50 to 80K. So let's just say a property comes in and the purchase price, like I'll talk about one of the deals. We got the deal. It was a PPC lead. It's in Elm City, North Carolina. I didn't even know where the hell that was. But I got the deal for 95K, right? It was a hotel, paint, carpet, a fridge, and we painted the decks. So what I did was I seen the comps was like 170 to 180. So I was like, okay, there's a 75K spread, 95. I dumped 10,000 into it. What I did was I looked at the comp that sold. Okay. And I called that realtor and said, hey, I got a flip that's in the same area as you.
Huge.
And would you be interested in listing it? But the reason why I called her was because if she sold that one, she's
got buyers. Yeah.
And the backup offers. Exactly. So nice. I said, listen,
that's smart, bro.
And then thank you. She worked with the investors. So she got me the clean out crew. She got me the painters. She got me the carpet people. She got me everything. Dang, so that's what I do. The same thing in Michigan. I found a realtor like, hey, it's a hotel, paint, carpet, appliances. They're putting a lockbox on and everything. So I look at it like this, even with, you know, and then if the ARV was around 175, I still took 10% off of that. So I calculated at 160.
Yeah.
Okay, so 160, 95 purchase price, 10 rehab, all of that 105 with realtor fees and hard money. I may be in at 125. So even if I sold it for 150, I still made 25,000. I didn't do nothing. It was a 2-week turnaround, two-week, once closing and everything, maybe 60 days. But I won't take on flips that's more than 15 to 20K if they're outside of Georgia.
Okay,
right?
got it. You're looking at more hotel style.
Exactly.
Seamus,
Georgia, we'll, like we got a flip going on in Thomasville. We drove there 3 times last week. That's a 9-hour transport to get down there back. But what I do is I take my crew down there. Like, so I took them down there and they're staying in the hotels and I still have that same pricing. The only additional money I have to spend is maybe a couple of nights for a hotel. But they already know what I like. We use the same colors. I use the same painters, the same contractors, the same electricians. Now, if it's something like HVAC or whatever, what I'll do is I'll find somebody that's close to there and I'll negotiate them down. Like, hey, my guy could come down and do it for $6,500. If you're close to there, cool. If they could do it and they give me references, I'll let them do the electrical and the plumbing. But demoing and walls and tiles and everything, my crew from Atlanta, they'll drive 5 hours for me.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm able to kind of keep a pulse on it. So it's the leads are mostly PPC and direct mail, all inbound. And then I'll use private money because private money, when you go into hard money, they want a blood sample. Let me get your kid's social security number.
Dude, I used to hate that, man. I know.
Life. Like, come on, man. It's an asset. If I default on it, you can keep the damn property. Why you want a blood sample? I'm B type.
Well, the funny thing about that is they actually they start by saying, yeah, we're asset based. We lend based on the asset, and if you buy it at 70% a loan of value, and then okay, let's do it. All right, first we need you to fill this out. Like, what,
bro? Okay, so let me tell you. So the flip we just sold in Atlanta, in Oakland City, right? We renovated. It was delays and everything because our intent was to keep it. It was going to be our first Airbnb. It sat on an R5 lot in Atlanta. So R5 lots in Atlanta, you could do what's called an ADU. So we was going to put 2 tiny homes on the same lot and Airbnb all 3 of them out, right?
Right.
So we went $25,000, $30,000 over budget. I redid the driveway. I tore electrical out. I'm like, we're not going to have to do nothing on this house for 2 decades, right?
Damn.
My buddy gives me a bank in Oklahoma that is doing 85% loan to value, right? And 6 points. I'm like, oh, this is gusto. I got it, right? The day before closing, she calls me and I'm like, hey, how's it going? She's like, not good. I'm like, what do you mean? My boss said he don't feel comfortable lending in Georgia. I'm like, you knew the house was in Georgia for 5 weeks. For 5 weeks.
Dang.
So I was already 30 days over, wanted to pay my lenders. So I slapped it on the market with the grace of God. We got a buyer in 48 hours. And it's funny because as we're at the closing table, the buyer said, I've been searching for a house for 2 years. I probably went to about 40 houses and we chose yours because of the touches that you had on it.
Yeah.
That's, and it was the same thing. Oh, it's asset based. Hey, can you fill out this? Can we get 2 years tax returns? I'm like, you said it was. It is. Then why do you need that? Like, it's not asset based, right? So
we need to run your credit. We need to run all that. So, Ryan, were you gonna ask something earlier? Your mic's off, bro. We can't hear you. Press the button. You might have that button pressed in, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got
there you go.
Can you hear me now? Stop pushing the button, Max. Dude, he has a button over there. Anyways, now how do you pay the realtor in those types of deals? Where you call them? How do they get paid in those deals?
So they get the typical 3%. I don't try to get them down like, hey, I'm gonna throw you deals. You get your 3%. My Elm City flip, she's getting 4%, 2% for the buyers. But I'm gonna get her like $1,000 gift and send her a gift and stuff like that. So I just it's a typical. I don't try to because most investors are like, well, I'm only gonna pay you 1.5%. Nah, she's helping me with the flip. Yeah. I had got quotes for clean out paint and everything. And she found people that did it for half price because she knew the investors and the people in her area. So I just give them the 3%. At the end, I throw them a nice gift. You know, I may give them a ticket to the Bahamas and everything and stuff like that. But that's how I paid them.
But I love the process that you have, man. It's amazing because you still can do it, right? You have the experience, but the biggest thing is you have the art of sourcing the deal, right? Where most people were buying a deal from someone else that had already been, you know, was already, you know, fees added and all that stuff. But that's what helps out a lot is that's one thing that I always say. If you can never leave the art of selling the deal, right? Like, or sorry, sourcing the deal, excuse me. And there's a book, by the way, called like that, which I think Trump was the one that wrote it, right? I don't remember the art of sourcing the deal or something like that. But again, and I love the formula, right? If here's what I'm looking for, and then out of state, it's got to be less than 25,000, you know, repair cost. And then after the repair costs and the purchase, and then you're looking for about an $80,000 to $100,000 spread. Is that right? Is that what I heard?
About 50 to 70K. And the reason why I came with that number, after everything, is because if the ARV is 200 and I'm all in that 120, 130, if I don't sell it, I cash out refi and I get all my money back and I'll put a renter.
Got it. Okay. Beautiful. I love that. So you have two, and then that's the other thing is that you're looking at it through the lens of two exit strategies, right? You're looking at it, you know, like you were looking to keep that one, but it didn't work out. So you put it on the market, sold it. But now you have the option of, you know, if I want to make sure that I'm able to refi, cash out, and then rent it out. But I like the system you have when it comes to understanding the relationship factor, which is the agent. A lot of people don't think like that, and they try to nickel and dime people. Well, I'm going to pay 1%, which is very terrible, by the way, because we had this experience in Oklahoma when we were marketing in Oklahoma last year. I think it was beginning of last year. We bought like 2 hotel deals, and the first thing I did immediately was call a real estate agent. I was like, hey, he helped me with the trash out. He helped me with fixing the leaks. There was a couple leaks and stuff. I didn't have to worry about looking for anybody, right? We looked for that agent, and they have all the connections. They're there. And the other thing too is that working with an agent, now take this with the grain of salt, quote unquote, they're licensed, so they're held to a little different standard, right? Doesn't mean much, but it's something to look out for. You know, and I think that just being real, dog. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some shady agents too. But I love the system, and that's how you're able. And then what you can do, I see what you're doing now is you're taking that system, and then you're just basically going to every single house with that same model. It's kind of like if you have a sales process, right? Same thing. You have a process on how you want to look at your flips. And so you're basically, that's how you're able to have 7 flips going on right now. I mean, is that kind of what you basically broke that down that way?
Yeah, exactly. So definitely, you know, having that amount of money or spread in the deal. And then on the properties because 3 of the ones we have now, possibly 4 of the ones now that we're flipping, we're going to keep. And the reason why we chose to keep them, like, for instance, one of the properties is in Macon. It's about 2,800 square feet. So it's 1,400 square feet upstairs, 1,400 square feet downstairs, different entrances. So we're going to rent upstairs out for 1,400. All right, Mike, take it easy, brother. We're going to, rent upstairs out for 1,400, rent downstairs out for 1,200. So we'll cash flow 2,600 a month, and that's a sub 2, which our note is only 742 a month.
Got it.
And the same thing for 2 other ones. One of the properties that we got in Douglasville, the house is around it's around 1,900 square feet, but there's an ADU that we're going to renovate on the same lot. Same thing in Plymouth, North Carolina. It sits on 3 acres. Main house has an ADU. We're going to subdivide the lot. So on one lot, or one property, I'll be able to cash flow. If the note is 1,000, I'll probably cash flow the same amount. So I can actually have 5 rentals and probably cash flow 5,000 to 7,000 a month, when somebody else would need 12 to 15 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, that's the beautiful thing about, Mike's still on here, seller finance and, subject to, and so that's what actually Ryan and I were talking about today is, I think there's still potential to flip by doing it right, especially if you're getting deals through seller finance and subject to deals that have a low interest rate, right? Low payment. Because worst case scenario, you fix it up and you still keep the house, right? So it's that there's potential to become rental. So Milton says, I have 3 flips going on right now and I'm using hard money. I'm still looking for that private money. Private money is definitely a game changer. Oh, absolutely, man.
It is.
So are you using 100% cash money, Seamus?
Yeah. So my private money lender is all for short-term loans. If I'm going to go, so, you know, what she does for me, and we got a great relationship. Like last month, she wired money into an account to an escrow agent, and we didn't even sign the paperwork yet. She's like, where the money goes? I sent it a wire. She's sending it. Yeah. We wind up not buying the property. She's like, tell them to send me my money back. That's the relationship I have with her.
Nice.
She don't, I never even met her. I never even met her. But she knows I know my numbers, and I was recommended to her from a good friend of mine, Brandon Barnes. So when you do longer term flips, if it's going to be a 6-month, then you probably want to do private money. I mean, you want to do hard money because it may be a little bit cheaper. But once again, hard money, you're probably going to have $40,000, $50,000 liquid in the bank. They're going to want a blood sample. They're going to want all that. I'd rather give my person a little extra money, but she doesn't ask me for nothing. And how that can help individuals is if you got bad credit, that's not going to stop you from flipping houses.
Yeah.
Right. With hard money, it's asset based, but you ain't got a 700 credit score. We can't do it. So it's not damn asset based. It is. It's my credit score based. So if you're gonna do,
I love that.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, man. My bad.
Now if you're gonna do long term, go with hard money. If it's gonna be 6 to 9 months, unless you get somebody that's really, really good with private money. I got a buddy of mine that owns a record label. His artist is the Baby. He lends me money. I got an NFL player. They'll throw me $200,000 and be like, yo, pay me back, you know, in 30 years. They don't even care about the money. You know what I'm saying? So
that's awesome. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Says Anthony, I guess that answers Anthony's question, right? Where does Seamus get his private money lender from? How important is it to share your journey, brother, and on social media and, you know, the things that you do? And I don't know if I know that you've had some, you know, based on your background, you obviously had some really high level relationships. I don't know what percentage comes from that and what percentage comes from sharing your journey and the things that you're doing. Because I think what you just said right now, that person that you know wired the money doesn't know you, but I don't know if they see what you do or they know that you know your numbers. How do they know that? How do people know they know your numbers?
I think you definitely have to let everybody know what you do. You know, that's why I share, you know, when we closing properties, walkthroughs and stuff like that, because that's how I get deals. Like the deal, actually, the foreclosure in Macon, I posted, we had helped a veteran out. His house was in pre-foreclosure. We gave him money. And we helped them move out and everything. And I said, hey, this was a pre-foreclosure property. And somebody seen it on social media and brought me another one, which is the one that we're going to keep in Macon. So it's extremely important to share your journey and to share and let people know what you do, but then also too, to know your inner circle. And, you know, people know that I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. They know I had a uniform company. Integrity is the key to everything with me. So I leverage a lot of those relationships because every loan that I borrow, I personally guarantee it. I'm like, hey, if it fails, I'll refi out. Or like, for example, and I'm not scared to share this. So on the Oakland City flip that we did, I lost $10,000. And let me tell you how. I bought it at 180. And when we seen the pictures, I was like, oh, this is going to be a $20,000. This is good. This is easy, right? Brought my realtors in. He's like, oh, you're going to get 310, 320 for this. Cool, no problem. We got in there. It was built in 1948. So cast iron plumbing all had to go. Electrical wasn't up to code. And the last thing you want to do is sell to a FHA or conventional buyer. And it doesn't pass code for electrical. And then we didn't notice when I get in there, because first of all, I had a tenant in there, 60 days. She asked us to give her 60 days. At the end of 60 days, she's like, I ain't getting out. And I'm like,
beautiful.
So we had to do cash for keys. So I sent my buddy over. I said, listen, you're gonna get evicted. Take this $3,000 and take your stuff, or the sheriff is gonna come and kick you out. So
that's pretty generous too, bro. $3,000. Woo.
I gave her $3,000. I was like, yo, I want her out, right? So we went in there. I looked. What I noticed in the pictures when we walked into the hallway, the intake for the HVAC was on the floor. I'm like, what the hell? So it was the intake was on the floor and we couldn't move it. We was looking for walls to put it in, and we couldn't put it in no wall. So we had to rip the entire system out, and it was a lay down, so it couldn't stand up. And then we had to put a new one upstairs, cut everything out, and then I was like, you know what? We're gonna keep it. Let's go all out. Redo the driveway, repaint this and everything. Next thing you know, we went from 25, 30, I'm up to 60. I'm like, okay, we're all in at 240, right? And then the market started dropping. And I'm like, okay, then 310, 300, 290. And I'm just like, why? So I could have told my lenders, y'all be patient. I'm going to do a cash out refi, but that would have took me another 60 days. And I said, you know what? Yeah. She's funding. I had 5 other deals on the table that I know. She said, Seamus, you know, you owe me for that one. You still hasn't paid. So I said, listen, let's just sell it. We took a $10,000 loss and they got paid.
Man,
most people were like, yo, I can't give you all of the money right now. And one of my guys that lend me, because how I do it also is I have a lender that will lend me the purchase price. So let's say the purchase price is 150. They'll lend me the 150. And let's say the rehab is 50. Another one of our buddies will lend me to 50.
Yeah. Yep.
Buddy that lent me to 60. We didn't even put a lien on the property or nothing. I could have like, yo, I'm not paying you.
Yeah. But then,
yo, I sent you the money. I wired you the money. Didn't sign nothing. No lien. No nothing. I could have said, you know what, bro? I took a loss. You got to take a loss too. But I was like, no. Wire them his money. Wire the money out, and that's it. So paying my lenders back are more important than anything. I'll take a hit because I know that I can source other deals, and I'm going to need them to lend me more money.
Yeah, I love that, man. I think that's very important to understand. Like, lenders don't really, well, they do care, but at the end of the day, they don't care about the return on their investment. They care about their return of their investment, right? And I don't know if you heard that before, Seamus. You know, and you know, most people do, and you got to do business. I love what Mike said. You got to do business the right way. So, because it's not just about that one deal, man. It's that the next deal, and the third deal, and the fourth deal. And at the end of the day, this community, we think it's big, but it's really not, man. I mean, we can sit here and talk about stories, right? It's not that big. This community is very small. But I love that because I've always learned that when I started using, and I learned that in 2017, because I got into wholesaling full time in 2016. And then sort of took a turn. I sort of took a turn in 2017 and we got into flipping with a buddy of mine that I connected with. And we did about, I don't know, we'd say between 15 to 17 flips that year. But he knew everything. Like, he knew the game and he knew the private lenders. And that's when I knew how important it was to take care of your lenders. And, you know, understanding, like, you know, even though, they're charging an interest rate, but they don't care about that. What they care about is the return on the whole pie. Right?
Yep, exactly. So hey, you could keep the cup of milk, but at least give me my damn pie back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. So I love that. So focusing on using private money lenders is key, but also you got to be, I mean, they got to trust the horse, right? Like, they got to make sure that they know that they can rely on you. But again, how do you do that is by sharing your story and understanding, like, you know, your journey, building those solid relationships when it comes to that. So are you going to continue flipping? What's going on next? What are you going to continue to go down this path, or what's happening after? I mean, with this,
I'm flipping all the way, bro. I'm not stopping. You know, I'm not stopping. I may, you know, pivot and change strategy because we're looking. This is another, you know, way that I look at it. If I buy a property, let's say $100,000. Mm-hmm. And I have to put $50K into the property, but the property is worth 210. If I take down 10 properties, I have $500 to $750,000 in equity in those deals. Plus I got the cash flow. So first what we was going to do was we was going to, find 10 properties, make sure that we had anywhere from 50 to 75,000 in equity, renovate all of the properties, right? Let's say 20 properties. We renovated all 20 properties, put tenants in all 20 properties, and then find a portfolio buyer and say, hey, there's $1 million in equity and they have rent. Here's the rent rolls. I want 1.3 million cash for it. And just bundle up the 20, sell it cash out for the 1.3 million, and then repeat the process again. Right? Because my end goal is to, be a lender where I could be on the beach in Santorini, Greece, and wire you $300,000 and close my laptop and keep drinking and get into a party. That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the guy? The beer, is it Del Sacchi's guy? The guy that's always laid back.
Yeah,
that's me. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, that's me. And I have the hair and everything.
I love it, man. That's a really good goal. I love that. No, and you're on your way to doing that. It's amazing. I've, like I said, your journey's been amazing. I've known you for quite a while. So, man, and you know what? This is crazy because we haven't even talked about the look at my man's comment. What's that say, Seamus? What's that say?
Brother dropping bars.
Dropping bars. That's the segue, baby. Not only listen, guys, if you're still with us,
that's
you guys
the segue.
Stayed here. That's the segue. Not only is Seamus is
wait, you got to share it, Max. You got to put it on.
I don't know if people can hear it, bro.
Oh man,
we should probably put it on.
Man, people put it on.
It, but
you gotta leave everyone hanging.
Your wife's cracking up over there. Check her out. So, Anthony, if you're still with us, man, not only does man drop bars when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, not only is he doing some big things in the real estate industry, but man, he did some big things in the music industry, man. How many albums did you record, Seamus? Tell us about that. Tell us a little bit about that history.
So it's crazy. So I got into the music industry in 1994. My first record that I put out was the one that you reposted. It was Big Willie Style, right?
Yep.
So Big Willie Style was produced by Ski Beats, which produced almost the entire Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z's first album. That's how I knew Jay-Z. Like we shot, I shot Big Willie. If you look at Big Willie Style, you can Google it. You look at Big Willie Style and you Google Dead Prez. We both shot those in the Kiva Studios. Used the same people, same studio and everything. I used to be up in State Street when Jay had his first, his first office and everything. But, Big Willie Style wanted to be like number 4 on Billboard. There you go.
There it is. Let's go.
So it's funny.
There's my man.
That my wife is dying in the back. She's dying. You know what I'm saying? So that record right there, Big Willie Style, and that's before Will Smith stole the name because I had it first. And my buddy was like, you should sue him. I'm like, he's Will. I think he got more money to pay for attorneys than I do. Maybe when I get on litigation, the movie. Exactly.
Yay! Look at him.
And it's crazy. At the end of this video, I'm holding my son in there.
Yeah,
he was around 1, and he's 28 now. He's 28 years old, right? So it's funny. I'm holding him in there. That's my oldest son. He's 28.
That's you know what I'm saying, brother.
So
how was that experience, man? Like, talk a little bit about that because that's got to be interesting, man. Like, I know you went in the car. You don't got to share the conversation we had in that car ride, but talk about your experience, man, because it's really interesting. Because you were like, this is a big label at this point, right? When you were doing this video,
yeah, we was top 10 on
Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah, it was on MTV Raps, right? It was on MTV. It was on BET Uncut. It was top 10 on Billboard. They was playing on Hot 97 in New York and everything. It actually was a dream come true because my brother and my sister were DJs, and I grew up in the South Bronx. I grew up in the area where the first hip hop record came from in Bronx River. My sister lived there, so I used to break dance and stuff like that. So it was funny the first time I heard. I'll tell you, it was funny. me and a buddy of mine was at the time I had an MPV, and Big Willie Style was on a gold cassette. So we was listening to it. We was like, yo,
Dang.
this is crazy. We hit eject, the cassette came out and the record was still playing. And we looked at each other and I'm like, yo, it's on the radio. And went crazy. And it was Funk Master Flex. It was Funk Master Flex, which was a DJ in New York. So that was huge. And then just being around Jay, and I was at Quad Studios the night Pac got shot.
Oh wow.
Me and my boy Sean came down and the cops was like, freeze. And we like, what the hell going on? And Pac had got shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was at Big Pun's house the night. I was at Cuban Link's house the night Pun died. So I was in the circles of all of them. And I remember my first demo was with Lady of Rage, Afro Puff, which was on Death Row. That was the label I either wanted to sign to Death Row because I was with the shits, I was the gangster, or I was gonna sign with Prince from Rap A Lot. Because I'm like, yo, things don't work. I got a street dude. I can still get to the bag no matter what happens. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy, bro.
We put out Big Willie Style, and we put out an EP. I have all the top producers on there: Buck Wild, Shock from Rough Riders, Dead Prez, and then I started a group, which was Crime Wave. And again, we dropped the album, went top 10 on Billboard, and I kind of got discouraged with what was going on in the music industry. Like we didn't own our masters. There was no black distribution. We was basically puppets. And I'm like, I'm not selling my soul. And we literally used to have stacks of contracts. And I was like, I'm not signing that. I'm like, no, I'm not signing that. I want to own my masters. I'll do my own distribution. You could distribute it, but if you need 500,000 CDs or records, I'll send them to you. Yeah. And this is funny. I remember sitting in a room with Russell Simmons, and I told him I wanted my own label. And he said there won't be no black record labels. And I'm like,
wow, that's crazy, man.
And that's Russell. That's before he had Def Jam. He had Rush Management. Right. Yeah, because Run DMC was on Profile Records. So wow, this is something that I'm sharing too. I'm getting back into the music industry, but not as an artist. We're going to do an incubator program where we help artists launch their music, keep control of their masters and ownership and everything, and kind of help them invest that money into real estate and into things that can change, the trajectory of their life. But music is my first love. I still got bars. Like, we was driving down to the airport and my younger son started rhyming and he's like, Dad, you don't want it. And I slayed him. And at the end, he's like, Dad.
Hey, was that recorded? Was that recorded anywhere?
Yeah.
I want to see that.
I want to see the receipt to that.
And he's like,
Marilyn, we need to see that tape. We need to see that tape, Marilyn.
Playback.
It's hilarious. Hilarious. She still has my demo that I did with Lady of Rage with Afro Puffs. She still has that. I'm just like,
yeah, he said, Milton said, bro, you're bringing back memories. MPV, Hope, Cuban Links, Fat Joe, love it. Huge congrats on your continued success, bro.
And like I said, I was in the Bronx. I was in the middle of you better not give him that. She's like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I want it. I want to see that.
I love music, man. To me, that was another way that I was able to create, like, to be creative and to express myself, everything I had bottled up in there. And just to see Hove now, what he did, I sitting like, damn, man, like, because I could have went with Rockefeller, but it's some stuff behind the scene that happened with somebody else, and I got caught in the middle. But I love music.
That would have been huge, bro. That would have been huge.
Yeah, what I'm saying? And it's funny, I have dreams, and I tell my wife, I said, I have so many dreams, no homo, with Hove, but we're sitting at a table where I'm like, he's like, what took you so long? He's like, what took you so long? And I'm like, I had to go my route and my
journey, brother.
To get there, you know what I'm saying?
Everyone, the journey, bro.
I love music, man. I love music.
That's freaking awesome, bro. I love your story, man. That's why I always, every chance I get, I'm gonna call you out on it, bro. You got to tell that story because it's not every day you talk to someone who's experienced that, and that's helped you out a lot, man. Like, I think it's helped you out a lot. Not saying that that's obviously everything comes with a challenge, but you know, you have a story there to tell, which is amazing because not everybody gets to experience that, right? It's those moments, right, that like you got to guard and you take with you, man. So man, this has been amazing. Man, I hope everybody's got value out of this. Go back and watch this thing. Man, Seamus, I really appreciate you for being on, brother, and being so open and you know, from being so open about, you know, your business and everything else. And I think that's why we have this show, right? We always talk about, you know, most shows you see, like people want to talk about all the good stuff and the stories, but got to talk about the challenges too, man. Right? The real deal. So what I'm going to do, Shem, before we get off, I'm going to bring you off for a little bit. We're going to make another announcement, but I want you to leave the people with something positive, something that we're going to let you just be on your own here, but I'm going to bring you off for a little bit. We're going to make some announcement, but think about something positive that you want to leave the people with and spit your bars, bro. All right. I'll bring you right back.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby. Man, that's amazing.
Awesome.
Man, if you guys have hung out with us to the end, amazing story. Man, I love Seamus. The guy, ever since I met him, hit it off really well. Back in, he actually came to Disruptors meetup, and he was actually, Daniel was recording for us at that time. He made it into the video. It was a montage video that Daniel did, and he was in that video. And amazing, man. It's crazy the things he's doing in business. And here's the thing, man, Ryan. You and I have always talked about this, is that you don't gotta have this big operation and do big things. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. I mean, that was kind of my big takeaway there with him. What are your thoughts on that, man?
No, big time. You know, I talked to him a little bit earlier today, and you know, I didn't think he had a big operation going, but I thought he had a lot more help with him, and it was, you know, just him and his wife. And I was like, damn, bro, that's super lean. I know he's adding to it now because he needs to.
Yeah, of course.
He's you know, he's pushing. But yeah, man, I'm impressed. And yeah, you don't need the big you know, the glamour, right? The big glass.
Yeah, you don't need the big shiny you don't need the big shiny objects. You don't need to, you know, you just got to be focused, man, and know what you want. And really, that's what, you know, we all struggle with, right? Is if you don't know what you want, then how do you know how to get it? That's really the key, right? If you don't know what you want, and how are you gonna know how to get it? And the problem is like, and Seamus is one of those people that knows what he wants. And for those of you that are watching, maybe you're seeing, you saw a lot of the glamour, like, you know, that's not on social media anymore. Those guys are now. I was actually, it's funny. Me and Eric Klein, we were messaging each other, and I said, "Hey, bro, you can't," because he was late. He was the last one in his office, and he goes, I had to stay to get this deal. And I messaged him, "Hey, bro, that's not what CEOs do, bro." And I said, laugh out loud. And then he messaged me back.
IG, it's not what they do, bro.
Yeah. And he messaged me back. He's like, "Bro, I'm just built different." And I said, I'm just kidding, bro. He goes, I know. And then I said, but that's why those guys that thought like that. That's why they're now CEOs of sport betting. And he just started cracking up. But guys, man, amazing show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Seamus brought it. We're gonna bring him back right now. But I do want to remind you is make sure that you join us December 8th. You don't want to miss this meetup with Cash Money Mike. I don't want to keep you guys on too long anymore but remember, December 8th, DM me. If you have any questions about it, where it's going to be, shoot me a DM, reach out to Ryan as well if you need to. But I'm going to bring Seamus back, and I'm going to have him end the show with some positive and encouraging for you guys. All right,
Let's go. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that watched the show. And I want to give you, some words of encouragement that you're on a path. I believe that in every family, you have that one person. You have the person that changes the trajectory for everything and everybody that comes after them. If you're on that journey right now and you're struggling and, you wake up some mornings, because I wake up mornings when I don't want to do it, you got to realize that you are different. You're the one that's going to change everything that's going to come after you. I've been in several industries, and what got me through each industry was me having faith foremost. That was the first thing, to realize that God can help me, and he has helped me out of every situation, and that there's people that's counting on me. Everything that you're trying to get right now, if it's to change, your financial situation or whatever it is for your family, you have to understand that it's not going to be easy. You're going to get punched in the face several times. the key to it is to make sure that you get up every single time and keep going. I'm a kid from the South Bronx. I did, I barely passed high school, did maybe 6 months of college, and I was able to fight through everything to get to where I want to be. So if you're struggling right now, first of all, I'm gonna pray for everybody on this call. I thank Max and Ryan for having me, but put your foot on the gas, go into 2023, and just stick to it, stay consistent, and I guarantee you everything will work out for you. Stay blessed, everybody.
Boom. Amazing. Everyone, have a good night. Peace.